All righty, you two. We're back with part 15. We're on a roll here. All right, so I am Greg at Greg's Tutoring NYC. You can contact me at GregsTutoringNYC@gmail.com. There's a link at the bottom to GregsTutoringNYC.com. It says digital-SHSAT-fax, where it's going to have a link to all these videos. I also have a playlist through my channel, Greg's Tutoring NYC. There's all that that needs to be got. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now, which is going to be the video, the URL that we're going to be exploring right now. Okay, so wait, we just lost something here. Hold on a second. The screen is flipping out. We should be there. Okay, yeah. All right, so we're gonna be exploring the question types. Now the questions are here. All right, so we're here. So, the DOE is saying that there's going to be some additional question types for 2025, and there may be even more of them on the 2026 example. Now, in part 4 or 5 and 6 of this video, and again, you can get it linked through the digital SHSAT facts at the bottom or through the playlist. I spent some time analyzing what I was perceiving the different question types were going to be, and I believe I was able to list them all out. All right, so instead of repeating all that, we're just going to explore the SRT for what it is, and that's pretty much it. So we're just going to bing, bang, boom through these because most of my examples look more or less literally the same because there's only so much you can do with some of these things. So let's kind of go for it. Again, we're not really caring about the videos. So select and drag each number in and out of the boxes. So 1 is odd, 3 is odd, 2 is even, and let's say I put 4 is odd and I make a mistake. I can either put 4 back here or I can put 4 there. Bam, that's it. There's nothing else to this kind of thing. It's just drag and drop. Since it's digital, we have a screen in front of us. We're allowed to do this. I talked about this a lot more on probably the math one was where this happened. So I think it was part 5 of this as well. All right, so that's one of the kind of things there. The second is the equation. So I don't know why they characterize this as a question format, but it's involved in answering questions. So we just talked about that in part 14. So we're going to skip that. Fill in the blank. So my name is Greg. There are something stripes and something stars. So this is a science, social studies question, and this is whatever this might be, 1.5, right? There are 13 stripes and 50 stars in the American flag. This may have been based on a passage or something that you just read. And these are basically grid-ins, not only for numbers, but also we're putting values in there. So they may ask you to type in your, they might be a vocabulary word in context, and they're going to ask you to type in what you think the answer should be. That seems to be too involved, but this is the capabilities that they're giving us. And again, I have fill in the blank things in part number 4 and 5 and 6 that get into more details of the volatility and variety possible for this kind of thing. So we're just doing an executive summary at this point. You can go back to part 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we have a hotspot. So again, I talked about those. So they want you to, which of the shapes have more than 4 sides? So this is 4, that's 3. This is 6, that's 4, and that's 5, right? So, and if you make a mistake, let's say you included that, right? And this is an all or none kind of one. It doesn't say there's 2, but normally for this exam, they would tell you the number. They would say, what 2 shapes have more than 4 sides? Because if you notice, I can't click on that. It's highlighting, but I move the mouse away, it's gone. All right, so what I have to do is basically unselect that hotspot there, and now select that one, and now that one's good. All right, so there's this deselection notion when you're hotspotting as well. All right. You might argue, why would they do this instead of A, B, C, D, E? Yeah, it's the same, but it kind of makes sense to highlight the two answers. They're visible. It's clearly that. And on the contrary, when you kind of think it through a little further, what does A, B, C, D mean anyway? Right. So you're actually taking the polygon and focusing on it. So there you go. That makes perfect sense. And remember, where you were able to use all the other tools that we just talked about in part 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay? So all those tools can all be used here. Not all the time. Like what an equation editor will be of no use here. All right? So anyway, this is a hotspot where it's asking us to highlight a certain area of the screen in some way. And normally when we do it, somehow the thing we highlighted gets lit up, if you will. In this case, the lighting up is the blue box around it. Okay? And hopefully the instructions will be a little further than that. You have to realize these questions were not intended to be SHSAT level questions. They're only here to demonstrate the feature, right? So we talked about tech enhanced features in part, gosh, I don't even know what part it was anymore. Probably 9, where I introduced the SRT. So that's one of the things there. Okay, we also have hot text. So I did this slightly different in part 4, but here we have an actual box around it. If you notice, if I mouse over it, it kind of highlights. All right, we can have the same thing basically that the hotspot had. So it says, which 2 words? So here they're telling us there's 2. So if I click followed and I click down, it shouldn't really let me do rabbit. So right, it's blocking me out to do rabbit. So it says which 2 are used incorrectly. So, and by the way, if I want to deselect, it's the same kind of thing. So a rabbit hole, the word hole is not right. And by the way, this is incorrectly as a misuse of the word, but you could also argue it's a spelling error. And then all the way, it should be W-A-Y. So those are 2 errors. And again, I covered this a lot more extensively in part 4 and also slightly in part 5 and 6. Okay, inline choice. So again, we didn't have this at all on the paper-based exam. So the capital of France is what? So it says choose. So we're going to click this little V thingy, and you're all familiar with this in browsers. So France, Paris, France, which is known for what? Okay, the Eiffel Tower. All right, so this is a 2-part question where they're piggybacking each other. A common place this would be used in revising editing A, where they say there's 2 errors or 2 things you have to figure out, and you do them. So this is happening as drop downs. Before it was an A, B, C, D, each with 2 choices. So now you're hunting and pecking. I'm getting feedback from students saying that this is going to be an all or nothing exam and stuff. No, these are matching what we're doing on the paper-based exam, just with a variation to it. So I don't think we're talking about earth-shattering problems here. Yes, there are differences, and yes, in some cases, it could mean getting the wrong answer, but that was always true. So I think the more we understand this, and the more we're pacing ourselves through the exam, as we always should do, the more these nuances are not going to be nuances. And I think just the it being foreign to enough students is kind of the initial kickback to this. And it's not really as bad as it seems. All right, and some of them are not bad at all. So, all right. Okay, multiple choice. So this is as normal. So I'm just going to click B randomly. This is what you normally used to do, except now it's on a digital exam. All right, so this would be the status quo. So I think a lot of people thought that the initial digital SHSAT, which was not going to be adaptive, was just going to be cut and pastes of a paper-based exam onto the screen. So we already know that based on the question types that are just told us that that's not going to be the case. Okay, so there's multiple choice. Okay, there's multiple response. So look at this. It says, which do you need to bake a cake? So normally you would use eggs. Normally you use flours. Normally you use sugar. Okay, and again, this would probably be based on a passage because otherwise you could say, well, I want to make a cake with tomato sauce. I'm sure there's a cake with that or a cake with lettuce. So it would have to be based on something that you just read or calculated or something like that, right? Because this case is about cake ingredients, but it could be computations like how many, which fractions are equivalent to 2/4 or something like that, and you have to give them all, right? So something like that. And it might even be one choice. There might be like two you click on. I haven't seen this yet, but it might be that one of the ones is a grid and you have to fill it in yourself. So it might be two. They give you choices and also have to combine it. So I just thought of that now. So I'm going to put that in my comments here as well. So let's see, combine grid in with multiple response. I doubt they're going to allow that. One of the things about the SHSAT is it tends to focus on one thing and only one thing. All right, so that's a benefit that we have. All right, what else are the new question formats? Point graph. So again, I showed this. It wants you to plot these three guys. So we have 3, 4 is this guy here, boink. Okay. 7, 2 is this guy here. Okay, and it's going to draw a line between those, and then 3, 8. So 3, 8 is going to be this guy here, boink. And it ends up drawing a triangle for us. If you notice too, around the point, there's like an area, and it would normally not let me click there if I did that, right? So, oh wait, I think I did this. Hold on. Let me try to. If I did one here and one here, hold on. I'm gonna go back and forward. I'm pretty sure I did this offline. Um, so if I did something like this and this, okay, it's keeping a memory of the exam. All right, anyway, it didn't seem to let me click within this purplish bluish circle if I already had done one there. And I'm assuming there's going to be some questions, yeah, right there, where it's not actually literally at the hatch mark. So see, the concern is that because it says 3, 4, what if you were to do like 3.01 comma 4, right? So it's giving you a little wiggle room to click it so that it's within the reasonable space. Now, personally, uh, if if the thing was 3, 8, well, it seems like there's a whole bunch of this whole square here it's letting me click on. So that seems like the area of making an error or whatever, or of getting it right, is a little too broad. But it depends on how they ask the question, I guess. All right. And don't be led astray because it in no way, shape, or form is presenting a triangle to us in the question. So it just says plot them. We don't know what it's going to do with it, right? So it just happened that it drew a line when I did the first two, and then it did a thing on the other. On the same note, if you notice, it's letting me um, just add an extra thing. So I think fixing this, it could get a little confusing trying to kind of resetting it. And it may be that you would have to log off and log back on to do this kind of a thing because the SRT is not talking to us about how we sign in. It only has to sign off when you're finally ending everything. All right. So it's a little confusing there about how that might work when you're doing these points. Anyway, it's a point graph. This might be definitely a SHSAT 9 question. And most likely at this level will be a SHSAT 8 question as well. All right. Okay, the next deals with the reading passage. So I'm going to skip that for 1 second. This is a shape transformation. So again, they're not really telling us what the transformation is, but they're presenting a triangle ABC, and then it says select and drag a shape onto the grid. So I'm going to take this guy here, drag it over here. I'm going to put it anywhere, and bam. So they would give us instructions for some transformation to happen to the original shape. And if you notice the three choices they give here plus this guy, and I can drag it back here, these are A prime, B prime, C prime. So again, this is leaning on being a SHSAT 9 question, but it could also be a SHSAT 8 question. It doesn't have to be. And again, this is only a sample to represent the dragging feature of the transformation thing. All right, so this is just a drop and drag, the same one we saw before, just using polygons, in this case, triangles. Okay, but they would have told us there's a shape ABC. It's reflected across the x-axis. It's rotated 90 degrees, whatever the case may be. And then we have to pick the right one. So not only do we have to pick the right one, but we have to put it in the right place, right? Because let's say it's supposed to go, well, let's say it's just a translation, and it's that, right? So, but if I kind of goof up, I'm going to put it halfway here. Okay, so for this one, so on the point graph, it may be, I could put the point anywhere. On this one, it's forcing me to align with the hatch marks. Okay, right. In other words, I can't make it. See, I'm putting it halfway there and halfway here, and it's snap toing. It's doing a snap to. So if that was wrong, you need to drag it yourself. All right, so it depends on what they ask you to do. All right, and again, I had examples like this on my part. I think this was on part 6 of the videos. Okay, solution sets. So this is also a SHSAT 9-ish type of question, where they're basically kind of asking you to solve a simultaneous equation. And basically what you can do is click on line 1, draw the line they're asking you to do, click on line 2, draw that line, and then fill in a solution set. So if you read what they're asking you there, so let's say we do line 1, which implies that line's going to be blue. So let's just go from here. That's not letting us go there. Let's go from here to here. Okay, that's the diagonal of the line there. Let's say line 2 was another one. Let's say these are cell phone plans. That one is going this way. Okay, it doesn't let me type at the very end there. So I don't know why it can't be 0. Does 0, 0 work? No, so I think this tool is a little broken there, but okay, if we do that, okay? So we have 2 cell phone plans presented as simultaneous equations. And again, if we make a mistake, we can go back here and redo the blue line. So maybe we might do the blue line instead of, is that going to work? No. Okay, yeah, it just moved it there. So you have to, so this is a little confusing. I had the same kind of concern with the triangle. Anyway, then it's asking you for the solution set. So there's basically 4 choices: this, 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 and maybe the shading of 2. So, so if it was basically greater than the both of them, it would be this. Okay, if it's less than the both of them, it's going to be that or whatever. So depending on how the lines are, so if we can commit it, right? We click down and click down, right? So this would not make sense on a simultaneous equation to shade like that, but that's what they're basically asking us for. And I can commit to that. I can commit to that. Obviously, it could be a solution set is everything, right? And then we can go back and unclick them, etc., etc. Right, so that's what they're asking us for. So I think this is the last question type, but there was an ELA one I skipped. Notice table grid. So select the check boxes in the table grid. This is comparing rows and columns. Can be green or red. An apple can be an orange. Nope. Well, an orange could also be green or red. Grape can be green or red. Grows on trees. An apple does. An orange does. A grape grows on a vine. Must be peeled before eaten. So must be. So this is a little queasy because the apple has the skin. You don't have to peel it. An orange, you could eat the skin if you want, but you would probably get diarrhea. So so this one really must be peeled. And a grape, enough people actually peel grapes. So that would be your table there. Okay. And again, if you click on when you make a mistake, you can deselect it by just clicking over it on top of it. Okay, I don't know that there's a clear all kind of button there. And again, that's a balance between They could give you too many features, and you could also get confused on using it. So the deselect kind of makes the most sense there. Okay, the section's complete. So let's go back to the ELA one. Okay, there's a reading passage. So if you notice there's video and passage here again, so I'm going to click on the word passage here. So we have that same poem from before. So it says select the passage tab. Okay, scroll to see the entire poem, so we can scroll up and down through it. Okay, that's important to do because it's falling off the screen. So we should make sure we're looking at the scroll bar as well. And obviously we can use that as normal scroll bar. And it says answer the question about the poem. So then what happens at the end of the poem? So you basically scroll to the end, see what's going on there, and answer the question. I'm just going to randomly see. I forget what the actual answer was. All right. So so this is labeling this as a question type. The key is that you need to click that passage button there. All right. And I think there's some questions where there's an extra tabs. Now the SHSAT normally doesn't have you comparing two passages, but I could see that being possible as well. Hello, how you doing? Hey, long time no hear. Hopefully you're doing good, doing well. Well, I'm not going to say where you ended up, but hopefully you're doing good because I think you moved out of the city, right? So the exam's going digital, and it's lots of differences here, right? So that's the last question type here. And it's not really a question type, but it's making notice of the tab. And again, if there was a second, like passage number 2, then what they may have you do is read the two passages and then compare them in some way, right? And SHSAT doesn't have an open-ended writing section where they may ask you a prompt and have you write something about that. So that doesn't seem like it's happening here as well. All right. So please like and subscribe. It's good to see students here, past students of mine, pop it in here. All right, so that's the last one for now. And again, that was the URL, srt.testnow.com/ny-SSAT, and that is in the link, GregsTutoringNYC.com/digital SHSAT facts. All right, so there is going to be more information coming from the DOE, and we're going to be looking forward to that. All right, I see a few people in the lobby. Please like and subscribe. There's a lot more of this to come, and as you can see, this takes a lot of work for me to get set up. All right. Any questions? So there's a bunch of stuff here. We bing, bang, boom through a lot of it. And this will be our last video for the day. And then the DOE should be releasing actual questions during March. That's the claim so far. And I'm going to get clarifications on some of the things I noticed about this, as well as trying to get you guys other platform information that's not really popping up here. It's not being described in the SRT itself. All right. Have a good weekend. Peace. Hit me up in email if anybody has any questions still. I would like people to ask as many questions as possible about the digital SHSAT so that we can get these all resolved now. All right, peace.